My name is Donald Yates. I'm the TWU Local 100 Vice President that represents Manhattan and the Bronx. I came on the job in 1994 as a bus operator. I started my career out of the Bronx division, the Gun Hill Bus Depot. I migrated to Kingsbridge Depot, and then I ended up in the Manhattan division in Manhattanville Depot. I got 32 years of service on the job, and I got about 22 years as an elected union officer.
Wow, that's amazing. How many years would you say you've worked in the Bronx?
I worked about I worked my first 3 years in the Bronx.
Oh, okay, that's cool. And what routes did you typically do?
Well, one of the routes I did the BX41. I drove the BX3, the BX7. The former BX55 doesn't exist anymore. And some other routes I don't quite remember. BX31. Various Bronx routes I drove when I was driving up there. BX10.
Okay, cool. And just like for me to get a sense, like what does your typical day look like as a bus operator? Is that your title actually?
Yeah,
Bus operator?
I'm a bus
Very
operator.
cool.
That's we basically our day is that we report for duty. And part of the reporting process is to pre-trip the buses under Article 19A of New York State law, and we basically look around the bus for defects that we can visually see, and report them on a card called a vehicle defect card, or it's called a OVCR card to be exact. And we have a brake test. We have a leakage test. Test the headlights, test the window wipers, things like that. Walk around the bus and make sure that it's safe for service.
Okay. And do bus operators, first of all, is bus operator different than a bus driver, or is that just the official title of a bus driver for the MTA?
That's the official title for a bus driver for the MTA, because
Okay, great.
basically we do more than drive the bus. So we operate and we assist customers. We take fare, maybe not physically, but so we do more than just drive the bus. We deal with ADA customers and a whole bunch of other things that we deal with.
Of course, yeah. I just wanted to make sure I got that right. I feel like we just casually refer to bus operators as drivers, but I just want to make sure it was the same thing, but knowing the additional, work that you guys do. And as an operator, do you have a say in what bus routes you get to choose? Like, if you're at one depot, can you say like, I don't want to drive this? Can the other person drive this? How much of a say do you guys have?
How it generally works is we have a seniority system, and we pick our poison, pick our routes. We pick our routes, we pick our hours, we pick our days off, our RDOs, we call them regular days off. We pick our vacation. Everything is about seniority on this job with the MTA.
Okay, and can you tell me what you mean by seniority? Like, the higher up you mean you have more of a say versus like a junior level, or someone who just started on the job has less of a say?
That's exactly what it is. Seniority is time on job. It's time on the job. So
okay, cool. So yeah, you said that you worked in the Bronx for about 3 years. Is that in the 90s? Was it in the 90s?
Yeah, I started in 1994.
Okay, wow. So a lot of things have changed since then. What was your experience like doing the bus routes in the Bronx?
Well, my experience is, you had a lot of factors of assaults and things like that. I think what's changed over time is it's probably a lot harder to operate on the city streets now, because you have the bicyclists, you have the scooters, you have the mopeds, the skateboarders, everything we're sharing the road. All of these obstacles we're sharing the road with. So their job becomes a lot more harder because they have to see and prevent a lot of accidents. Our job is to prevent accidents, and I often call it saving lives because we're out there saving lives. Because there's a lot of people who walk out there. They're on their cell phones. They're not looking. They just walk right into the street. So our job is to make sure that nobody gets hurt. We're looking at all of that while we're operating the bus.
So you would say that when you started, that the biggest risk for bus operators were assaults by other passengers, but now you think it's more of like pedestrian safety. Would you say that?
It's pedestrian safety, and of course, because the way the city is now, we have like more people who are angry for whatever reason, and they take it out on the bus operator. They take it out on the bus
Right.
operator, no matter what the situation is. The bus operator has to follow a set of rules and policies that's issued out by the MTA, and the general public is not aware of these rules, and they get quite angry, and oftentimes they get into disputes with our operators, up to and including assaulting them.
Right. And, you mentioned that a lot of people are angry now. I feel like this is something we're seeing more visibly since COVID. Like, how would you say this has affected staffing, for example, for operators? Are there less operators? Do people not want to do certain routes because of, their own safety?
Oh, without a doubt. There's people who may get assaulted, and they don't want to do the route no more. Sometimes we have to transfer them out the borough or transfer them to another route in order to and impact, and it does impact the seniority. So yeah, we have these mechanisms that's going on, and it's more often than you would believe.
Right. Something, when I was growing up, I had a lot of MTA employees like in my community, in my family, and this was like a job you could do for like 50 years. And I feel like, I'm just kind of wondering, like, what is retention like now for bus operators?
You repeat that question to me. I didn't quite get it.
Yeah. I just, let me rephrase this. Like, would you say that there are, like people that bus operators are staying on the job? Actually, no, let me rephrase that better. What I'm trying to get at is, what is staffing like right now for bus operators? Are people staying on? Are people saying, I've had enough of this, I'm quitting? Do people want to be bus operators anymore?
Well, I would like to say that our younger generation, they have the mindset that they're not taking this, and they will leave for another job because they don't feel like they have to be a punching bag. So we're always hiring now, and it's some of it is people leaving, some of it is people leaving through attrition, and it's every week, every 2 weeks, I see that there's a class that come in for the title of bus operator.
So you're observing that there are more people that are being hired, but you can't say anything specifically about like whether they're leaving or not, right?
Well, no, I can't say nothing specific, but the job is not as attractive as it used to be. I mean, we have an inferior pension system, and that's affected the whole New York State, New York City area, which is why there's a big pension fight back for reform on the pension issue, because the whole idea is to retain people, to make this place a comfortable career, and they're making it very difficult. When I say they, I'm talking about like our governmental people who make decisions on pension and legislation issues. So it's just more than just like dealing with people. I mean, we can deal with people, but you got to also make it worth the members' you got to make it worth their while to want to stay and deal with such a situation. And I believe, and I'm pretty sure that you'll talk to anybody who's in our union or a member of our union that will tell you the same thing, that for the work that we do, us being essential workers, when they deem us essential workers, and then a punching bag, we're a punching bag to management as well at times, and then we get it from both ends.
Absolutely. Yeah, and another reason why I asked that is because, sometimes when I'm waiting for the bus on the bus app, it'll say, we're running with as many operators as we can. It's sort of like blaming it on the operators, not, on other factors. Yeah, what would you say about that?
Lies. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
The MTA is lying. They are lying on us. What happens is that, and it goes into a more deeper and sinister thing that they're doing. They're not repairing the buses. It's a staffing issue with our maintainers. Our maintainers in Manhattan and Bronx and Brooklyn division. They're not hiring the staffing levels that's needed to deal and work on these buses to keep them safe for the public. And then not only that, they have to buy buses. And some buses are not making it into service because of issues that they're just not fixing. So they may not have enough buses. They borrow buses from other locations. And what they do is they'll sit the bus operators down in the swing room, send out half the service, fudge numbers, and say that the service went out 90% or so. And it's not the bus operators that's available. It's the equipment that's available to be operated by the bus operator, because the bus operators are available.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And would you say that there's like a clear difference in terms of investment, for equipment and things like that when it comes to the subways versus the buses? Do you think they put more towards, having the subways run more efficiently than the buses?
Well, I'll just say that the bus department is the smaller department compared to the trains. And the trains is like anything subway, anything that's considered part of the system, and we're considered surface transit. And they do focus more on making sure that the infrastructure and things like that is done to the utmost in the subway system. But I cannot quite give you a number. I mean, maybe you can get that information from our president of the union, who will have more information, or even maybe some of the vice presidents that deal with the subway system.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, like, you kind of like brought this up a little bit, but like when you bring this up to like executive leadership with the MTA, like, that they're, sort of throwing you guys under the bus, no pun intended. What is their response to that?
They claim that it's not them, it's an automated message, and that they'll deal with the message. And then time and time again, we look on X, formerly known as Twitter, and that same message appears, that the service is not running, or a bus may not running on the bus operators we have available, because of the bus operators we have available. And oftentimes that is a direct contribution to the customer's anger and frustration, and they take it out on us, the bus operator. And they themselves are actually helping in getting us assaulted.
Right. Yeah, right. And, I was talking to some like transit advocates and asking them the same question of like, what do you think, the issues are with Bronx service? And a lot of them, sort of point to traffic. Like, that's one of the reasons that's like one of the biggest reasons what affects service in the Bronx, at least east to west. Like, was that your experience, at least in the 90s? Like, was traffic like the biggest like deterrent for you, or from your other operators that currently serve the Bronx routes?
I mean,
Is
absolutely not. No, 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 no. That's I'm on the inside. I can tell you what it is. This, everything is about running things as a business. It's not running service to service customers. So they're right now they've took a lot. They have taken a lot of the dispatches off the road. They they're the one that control and direct the headway of the buses. So even if buses were running late, you have the ability to impact the headway with a human being out there telling a bus operator what to do. And I'm talking about our supervisors. And they right now they want to take them off the road and deal with these GPS systems or their tablet systems from a whole nother borough. So you got people now, they took about 25 to 27 posts off the routes, and they're dealing with headways and things through the bus command center in East New York, Brooklyn. So we have maybe an East New York dispatcher from Brooklyn at the command center giving us instructions, and as if they even answer the radio.
Mm-hmm. And can you just remind me what the East New York dispatcher is doing? Like, what the communications are between you guys, and what's the difference between the depot? The supervisor at the depot.
So the supervisor in the depot, like you got the crew dispatcher, just deals with everything that's considered the crew. Report they report. They receive reporting employees to work. They take sick calls. They if there's people that's down, they deal with our extra list to fill runs that might be empty, and have operators cover runs. So basically, that's the crew dispatcher's job. Then we have a general dispatcher that deals with mostly payroll issues, and the ones that's in East New York, they're dealing with the command center. So they're dealing with everything that's related to the radio system, to the GPS system, what they call bus track system. They're dealing with that in East New York in real time.
Oh wow!
So
And how do you think that distance affect, like, say you're in the Bronx and you have someone from East New York telling you like where to ride and having your communications, like, does a lot of things get lost?
yes,
Because it's coming from over there.
It's already it's not only has it caused a safety problem for some of our operators. I had an operator telling us today that she had a somebody on her bus who was threatening her with a knife, and they took that particular dispatcher where it happened at off the post. She had to call the command center. They couldn't get no help from the command center, and she had 5 other bus operators come to her assistance to make sure that she was safe. So it created a safety hazard, especially not only for all our bus operators, but for our female bus operators as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so scary. I'm so sorry for her. Yeah, this was really helpful. Thank you so much this is like information that like I would have never honestly known just based off of my research, and I think is so important. Is there anybody else that you think I should talk to? Like, they don't have to be, a member of the union. Well, they could be a member of the union, but anyone who like currently rides the Bronx bus routes that could also just kind of give me their perspective on what it's like, driving these routes.
Yeah, I could actually give you somebody. I can text you their number. I would like to first talk with them and see if they will be okay talking, and then if they're okay, I will text you their name and their number, and they can give you their perspective on as real time. And I'm talking about a bus operator. And for the record, what is your name again?
My name is Marina Samuel. I can
Maria.
text it to you as well.
And you work for who?
The Bronx Times.
Bronx Times. That's right. Ellen told me you was gonna. Ellen kind of hooked it up for me and you to talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she put us in contact. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think is important to know for a piece like this?
Well, I think I would like to focus on the fact that there's a lot of buses. There's a lot of buses that's not making it to the road because of maintenance issues, not hiring maintainers. They're very short on headcounts when it comes to the job of maintainer. There's a whole bunch of problems down in the maintenance department as to why they're not hiring the bus operator. I'm sorry, scratch that. Hiring our map store maintainers and our TA surface maintainers for that matter. They're overworked, and then they try to come down and discipline the people as well. They're working doubles and triples, and what they should be doing is hiring the manpower to work on the equipment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is there anybody else that you think I could talk to that, could speak a little bit more to that about,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll also see if they're all right talking to you, and then I'll send you their numbers and put you in touch with them.
Oh my God. Great. Thank you so much, Donald. This was so, so helpful.
You're quite welcome. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Let me know when you can send that.
Okay, will do.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, good night. So that was me talking to a reporter from the Bronx Times, and the message has to get out. Have a safe one, everybody.